Ahead at 5, how the so-called ring of fire is affecting our weather pattern this week.
And how Madison is expanding a program in the city to slow drivers down and hopefully save lives.
As cryptocurrency grows in popularity, the scams, unfortunately, are growing along with it. How lawmakers are looking to protect consumers.
And we welcome you to News 3 now at 5. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Susan Simon. We're bringing you team weather coverage as we battle with more wildfire smoke and dangerous temperatures.
And meteorologist Blaze Keller joins us now here in studio with a look at Alert Day this week. Kyle Pozorski's on the weather patio, and he'll update us on the ring of fire and the heat in our weather pattern this week. And that's where we start with Kyle with what forecasters are saying is really a mixture of factors causing this. Kyle?
And Susan, like you guys were saying, it really was a hot and humid day out here, and this is really caused by a mixture of two factors. High heat set to become widespread this week, caused by a heat dome forming over the central United States.
Which is pretty common in the summer. It's when you get a big ridge in the jet stream.
At the same time, storm chances becoming likely, characterized as a ring of fire to the north.
Storms to develop right around that heat dome.
Amanda Schwabe of the Wisconsin State Climatology Office says Wisconsin will see impacts from both of these, with possible severe thunderstorms to the north of Madison and a mix of heat and humidity coming from the south.
If we pull up the National Weather Service alerts, you can see right in that spot, those are all the heat alerts. And it's a really stagnant weather pattern, so that's why you get a lot of heat for multiple days, and then those on the outside of the dome get a lot of storms for multiple days.
She continues that despite it feeling like our summers keep getting hotter, Wisconsin has not seen a noticeable increase of high heat days since the 1950s. However, overnight temps have been getting hotter, with 70-degree nights becoming more frequent, a negative impact on crops.
It's good for the plants to be able to cool a little bit at night rather than just staying at that consistent hot temperature.
And Eric and Susan, for the time being, there's not really a lot of good news, as the heat dome that is to our south is not really expected to move out until maybe sometime next week. For now, I'm going to send it back to you guys in the cool studio.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Now look at the first warn forecast. Blaze is here, and we have an alert day this week for those extreme temperatures. What day is it, Blaze, and how long will this heat stick around?
It's going to be the alert day for Wednesday, and as Kyle mentioned, he was talking to me before the start of the newscast, this heat is likely going to be sticking around through at least the middle of next week. But for now, the hottest day over the next 7 to 10 is going to be Wednesday. Not only will our temperatures be in the low to mid 90s, then you factor in the sunshine, the breezy southwesterly winds, as well as those high dew points. All of that contributes to it feeling like we're in those low 100s. It could feel anywhere between 100 to 110 degrees on Wednesday afternoon, and that heat is going to stick around overnight into Thursday. So that extreme heat watch doesn't go into effect until Wednesday morning, but anybody here in the red, you need to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water, you're staying cool and hydrated, not only during the daytime hours, but especially at night too, when your body is recharging and resting for the next day. And it goes without saying, but the same goes for your pets as well. They get hot just like us in the summer and cold just like us in the winter. In the meantime, 60s tonight, we're beginning to enter into that ring of fire, that heat dome tonight. So starting tomorrow, we'll be in those upper 80s to low 90s. We'll take a look at just how humid it's going to be this weekend. Talk more about these heat domes and time out some rain chances in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. In Grant County, a woman is dead after a single car crash this weekend. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says 75-year-old Linda Bottomley from Platteville was driving northwest of Platteville when she crossed the center line and went into the ditch. An investigation found she was not wearing a seatbelt. She later died from her injuries at a nearby hospital. The Grant County coroner says she likely suffered a medical incident which caused the crash.
And in Marquette County, a driver is dead after a rollover crash. This happened last night about 8:30. The Marquette County Sheriff's Office took a 911 call about a single car rollover in the town of Neshkoro. The driver, the only person in that vehicle, they were thrown from the vehicle and pronounced dead at the scene. Officials are still investigating what happened.
To more local news now, Madison is officially expanding its 20 is Plenty program citywide, lowering speed limits on residential streets from 25 to 20 miles per hour. The goal is to improve safety for pedestrians, bicyclists, and drivers alike. Phase 2 installations are wrapping up next month. Officials say the initiative is part of Madison's Vision Zero plan to eliminate traffic fatalities, and free yard signs are available to help spread the word.
It's now been 6 months since President Trump took office for his second term, and new polling from CNN offers a look into his signature policy on immigration. 53% oppose increasing the budget for immigration and customs enforcement by billions of dollars. A 57% majority says they oppose plans to build new detention facilities capable of holding up to 100,000 undocumented immigrants. In an interview that aired on CBS over the weekend, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons detailed the administration's sweeping deportation efforts.
We have opened up the whole aperture of the immigration portfolio, meaning that if you're here illegally and ICE goes out and arrests someone that is released from a sanctuary jurisdiction or wanted in their home country, and an ICE officer finds other individuals with them who are in the country illegally, we're going to take them as well.
And ICE is about to get a funding boost, set to receive $75 billion from the president's sweeping agenda bill.
The growth of cryptocurrency has led to an increase of scams on Wisconsinites.
And new proposed state legislation looks to add more regulation. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks caught up with the state senator pushing for these new regulations.
The world of cryptocurrency is still largely unregulated, but some state lawmakers are looking to change that.
Malls, gas stations, convenience stores, you name it. Crypto ATMs are popping up everywhere. A report from earlier this year from the FBI shows from 2023 to 2024, they had a 99% increase in complaints filed over crypto scams. I had the chance to speak with State Senator Kelda Roys, who is proposing new state legislation for more regulation on cryptocurrency and crypto kiosk. Part of the legislation includes transaction limits at crypto kiosk and would require crypto kiosk operators to refund money someone has lost due to fraud.
Now, normally when you take money out of your bank account or you send somebody a Venmo, there's a traceability to it. But law enforcement basically said there's nothing we can do. These people are out sometimes thousands and thousands of dollars in an instant, and that money is just gone to a scammer. I said that this is unacceptable. We need to have some guardrails.
Tonight at 6, we'll hear from the Better Business Bureau on the numbers they're seeing for crypto-related scams.
All right, Jalen, thank you. Microsoft has issued an alert about active attacks on its server software. The affected SharePoint servers are used by businesses and government agencies to share files. Microsoft recommends customers disconnect their servers from the internet until they can apply new security updates. The company said cloud-based SharePoint Online in Microsoft 365 was not affected. Meanwhile, the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency says it is aware of the breach.
Happening now, 5 million above-ground swimming pools are being recalled after being linked to the drowning deaths of 9 children between 2007 and 2022. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, along with several manufacturers, announced that recall alert today. Pools in the recall have an external strap which wraps around the supports of the pool and can provide a way for children to enter the water even if the ladder has been removed. These pools were sold under the brand names of Bestway, Coleman, Intex, and Poly Group. If you own one of them, you should contact the branded company for a repair kit.
You're probably paying more for those burgers on the grill. Beef prices are rising to record levels. The Agriculture Department says beef is selling for $9.26 per pound, nearly a 9% hike since just January. Analysts say several factors are to blame, including smaller cattle herd sizes, drought conditions, and more expensive feed. The American Farm Bureau Federation also says cattle ranching in general isn't as profitable as it was previously, and some ranchers have simply since given up.
New research recommends parents not give smartphones to children younger than 13. A study looked at self-reporting from nearly 2 million people in more than 160 countries. It found smartphone use by kids under 13 was associated with mental health problems, especially among girls. Those issues included suicidal thoughts, poor emotional regulation, lower self self-worth and detachment from reality. That was likely due to kids accessing social media more and experiencing sleep disruptions, cyberbullying, and negative family relationships.
If you notice more air traffic overhead from planes new and old, they are probably heading up to Oshkosh for EAA Air Venture. It starts today. The annual air show and gathering of aviation enthusiasts at Whitman Regional Airport and Pioneer Airports in Oshkosh. Last year, over 675,000 people and 10,000 aircraft came to the week-long event, and with that many aircraft, that turns Oshkosh into one of the most active airspaces on the planet. The show runs through Sunday. Tickets start at about $70 per adult per day.
Well, your full forecast is coming up next as we get ready for a hot and humid week ahead.
And the man accused of trying to frame an undocumented immigrant by sending a threatening letter to the White House is back in court. The charges he now faces. And tech stocks trending up on Wall Street today. The Nasdaq jumps 78.5. The Dow Jones falls 19. S&P 500 adds about 9. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
A Milwaukee man accused of trying to frame an undocumented immigrant by sending threatening letters to President Trump is back in court. Demetric Scott faces 4 felonies after allegedly impersonating Ramon Morales Reyes, who is now facing deportation to derail a criminal case against him. Scott appeared by video today as the court confirmed his public defender scheduled a preliminary hearing for August 5th. Prosecutors say Scott admitted to the hoax aimed at preventing Morales Reyes from testifying against him.
In Oak Creek, police say a 60-person bar fight resulted in multiple injuries, a motorcycle pursuit, and an ambulance ride for an intoxicated person. It was about 5 yesterday. Police were called to the Route 41 bar to find a fight, including those 60 people. 2 men suffered minor injuries, and a 23-year-old was hospitalized due to extreme intoxication. When officers arrived, a person on a motorcycle fled the scene. It's not clear if they were involved.
Well, it is peak mosquito season in Wisconsin. A lot of people are talking about that now, and public health officials are reminding all of us that even a bottle cap worth of water can breed mosquitoes. While not all mosquitoes bite humans or spread disease, a handful of species can carry things like West Nile virus. Crews are actively monitoring and treating public spaces with safe, targeted larvicide, but you can help by dumping any standing water weekly from buckets, gutters, toys, or anything else that collects rain.
A full look now at your First One forecast. Blaze is here and the wildfire smoke making a haze in our area. And we've got some warm temps on the way, Blaze.
Warm to say the least, and thankfully southerly winds are going to move out some of that Canadian smoke as we go further into Monday. So expecting more blue skies on Tuesday. But starting Tuesday onwards, we are going to be hot, we are going to be humid, and we are going to be underneath this ring of fire, underneath this heat dome. But we do see some rain as we go into Thursday of this week. That is some good news. That is when just a little cold front will scoot on through and bring us some showers and thunderstorms before we head into what looks to be a hot weekend. Starting tomorrow, upper 80s to low 90s, a better chance for a stray shower or two by the late afternoon, early evening, further to the north. When we get this hot, we typically have to wait for those showers and thunderstorms to develop as we go into the evening and overnight. Once those temperatures cool just a little bit, the hot air at the surface can rise through the atmosphere and then create those showers and thunderstorms. During the daytime hours, it's just not really in the cards for the air at the surface. But we continue to see a major threat from heat as we go into Wednesday. That is why we continue to have that alert day, why we have that extreme heat watch starting Wednesday morning through at least Thursday night. This is taking into account the humidity, the fact that, folks that are elderly or young may be more susceptible to heat-related injuries like heat stroke or heat exhaustion. And especially Wednesday, but really over, I would say, the next week to maybe week and a half. Please just make sure that you are drinking plenty of water. You're checking in on folks who don't have AC or a way to really stay cool, because this blocking high in the heat dome to our south doesn't look to break down, at least for the next week to week and a half. Now, Jacob mentioned and Kyle mentioned too that we are kind of in between not only the heat and humidity, but also the jet stream where we get those little low pressure systems, those showers, those thunderstorms, because in the middle of this, it's really hard for thunderstorms to get going. So we're kind of in between a rock and a hard place, if you will. Do we sit a little bit further south underneath this heat dome and we're hot and humid, or do we stay further north and we get more of those showers and thunderstorms, which could pose a flooding problem? We're going to get both essentially here over the next 7 to 10 days. That heat dome to our south is essentially fueling itself. These typically can last, 1 to 3 weeks because they are a self-sufficient type of system. The air is pushed down towards the surface from this high pressure system. As it's pushed down, it is warming on up. And because no systems move through the middle of this, the hot air stays near the surface. That's why we stay hot. That's why when we see these strong heat domes, we really want to make sure and hammer home that folks underneath it need to stay cool and hydrated during the day, during the night, and drink plenty of water. So once a couple more low pressure systems move on through this and kind of chip away at it slowly but surely, then it will start to weaken. But at least over the next 6 to 10 days, we sit underneath an 80 to 90% chance of being warmer than average. And if we extend that out even to the start of August, we're still seeing the remnants of that heat dome to our south. But it looks like we may be more into that jet stream. So we deal with a little bit more of that rain activity, brings us some rain cooled air. Perhaps we get a bit of a break by the time we go into those first few days of August. So all of that being said, Susan, Eric, folks at home, it is time to break out the shorts. It is time to break out the water bottles, the mini fans, whatever you need to do to stay cool. Avoid heavy clothing, dark color clothing, because we're going to be in the 90s on Wednesday, again on Sunday. Maybe the low 80s by the middle of next week.
And maybe find a nice, cool place
Yes.
for a drink and an indoor meal, because this week is Madison Magazine's Restaurant Week. From today through Friday, the semi-annual event offers some ways to sample Madison's local offerings starting at $30. Restaurants will offer a price-fixed menu with 3 courses or a lunch menu for $20. You can find more information about the event, what restaurants are participating at channel3000.com.
When we come back, marking 13 years since the deadly mass shooting in Aurora, Colorado. We'll tell you how those who died are being remembered next at 5.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Yesterday marked 13 years since the Aurora, Colorado movie theater mass shooting. It was July 20th, 2012. A gunman opened fire inside a crowded theater, killing 12 people and injuring dozens more.
Every year since that shooting, the Aurora community has held a midnight vigil on the anniversary of the massacre. Ann Herbst was there this year and spoke to mourners about those they lost.
13 is a number often charged with feelings. Tonight, this 13
We'll never forget what's happening.
is one Tony Kurtzinger can hardly believe.
I'm just like in awe that it's been so long and how many years we've been doing this.
This, a vigil every year at midnight on July 20th to remember the 12 killed and 70 injured in the Aurora theater shooting in 2012.
So we have crosses for the people that we lost that night, but then we also have the 70 cranes here that represent pretty much our healing journey.
Tony is on that journey, now 13 years long.
Where I was injured, along with 8 of my other friends, and I was actually pregnant with my son at the time, who actually turns 13 in 2 weeks.
Also, 13 years to grow older without her friend.
Alex Sullivan, yeah, we lost him that night on his birthday. So my son actually knew he wouldn't be born that day.
A decade and change is substantial, but the good stuff is still easy to recall.
He was one of the best people I've ever known.
13 years brings strong bonds and grows a teenage boy.
This is my 13-year-old, and this is one of our besties.
13. It's enough time to dull sharp edges a bit for Tony.
It doesn't feel like it's yesterday anymore, like it used to.
What that time won't do is erase appreciation for those who helped that night. And no amount of time will ever cause Tony to forget why she's here.
But we still want people to know how important it is to us that we do this every year.
Very moving. We'll get a final check of the weather when we come back.
Close call in Big Sky as a passenger jet takes emergency action to avoid a military aircraft near a North Dakota airport. We have the details.
And Eye in America looks at improving the health of the sea and the fisheries businesses depend on by recycling oyster shells. It's a pearl of an idea tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And after that, coming up at 6, our Will Keneally sits down with the Madison Metropolitan School District Superintendent, Dr. Joe Gothard. He speaks out on alleged misuse of school funds at his previous school district. That story and more at top of the hour on News 3 Now at 6.
Well, training camp is just around the corner, and the Packers hit the field for their first open practice this Wednesday. Oh boy, Blaze, the hottest day of the week. Yeah. They're tough guys, though. One of the fan favorite traditions returns as well. I love this so much when the players ride the bikes from kids at Lambeau to the practice field. Andrew Banstra and Jason Wilde will be on the ground with coverage, insights, and player interviews as the countdown to kickoff begins. So mark your calendars. The Packers open the regular season at home Sunday, September 7th against the Detroit Lions. And guess what? It's right here on News 3 Now.
And they're off. Come on, make some noise for your snail.
I asked the lady, who do you think I should go for? She said the ones that are trying to make a breakout, maybe they're a good choice. He was trying to escape, so I thought he's got a bit of fight in him, and clearly.
Right turn alert from the Packers to the Snails. The English village of Norfolk turned slow motion into a sport over the weekend. Snails from around the world, they were invited to slug it out. There's some good writing there in the annual World Snail Racing Championships. This year's superstar was Bilbo Sluggins. Inching his way to victory, his trainer, aptly named Shell, took home a trophy stuffed with lettuce leaves, a victory snack fit for a champion.
I was going to say, I bet they worked up an appetite.
Can you imagine anything more boring to watch?
No.
I cannot. Quick final check, Blaze.
It's going to be a hot and humid one, folks. Pretty much from here through the middle of next week. Drink plenty of water and stay cool and hydrated.
And the CBS Evening News is next. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.
Have a good evening, everybody. You can find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. See you at 6.